Hello and welcome back to the Cinder. My name is Luke, also known as Tianery, and we're going to continue from what we were doing last time, which is to complete this tokenization, the Lexer, effectively for parsing HTML. Now, I've been thinking this is probably not the best approach. So what I'm actually going to do, so I'm just going to delve into the code straight away without really introducing things. Hopefully you watched the previous video. So we've got here this default where we're capturing any character that isn't any one of these. And I've realized actually we kind of want to capture white space independently outside of this switch because we want to know spacing between these letters that we find so that we know when to create a token or not for this basically. So I'm going to extract this out and put it here. So if we've got this, and what I'm also going to do is else if is whitespace d.ch. Otherwise do that. And then we're going to do the else with the switch. Now the reason to do that, I'll show it to you in a moment. I'm going to get rid of this. Oops. Let's just cut that and remove. So I'll put that in there. I'll get rid of this. And then I actually realized I did something wrong there. I put default there. Now, for some reason, Odin doesn't actually complain. It must think that using the word default is fine. But actually, for anything that isn't capturing, we're supposed to just use case without a value. It's kind of confusing, actually, because I always confuse that between hacks, because hacks uses the default keyword for all other cases, whereas in Odin, that's not the case. You just put case without a value. Excuse me. So I'll just put that in there. Right. So what I want to do here, oops, didn't do that. What I want to do here is if we can get to a white space and we've got something inside of letters, so then letters greater than 0, then what I'm going to do is create a token which is going to capture our value from letters. So this is where we need UTF-8 dots rooms to string. Now this takes a slice. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do slice.clone. Actually, I need to import that. Import core slice like that. So slice.clone is going to take our letters and allocating it on the heap is fine. And then we will put the type there as identifier, like that. Now the reason to clone it is because what I'm then going to do is I'm going to clear letters. Now if you clear letters, when you do, oops, supposed to be a reference. When you clear letters, what's going to happen is whatever was the underlying memory to letters, when you slice it like this, it takes a reference to the memory within. So this is why we need to clone it. So we clone what exists in that memory as it is when we slice it, allocate it to another set of memory, then clear the letters in order to avoid changing it, changing the memory like that. So it's important to do that. And then we append white space here. When we have a UTF-8 letter, we're then going to append to our letters. D.H.CH. That. So we're just going to do that. Now, we'll work out how to parse it later. But what I'm going to do now, so, I mean, technically this is kind of complete. I say kind of. It's not quite complete just yet, but we can sort of work on this now. So we're returning tokens. So let's work out what that would do. So extract tokens. Let's go back to main. We're going to get tokens. We're going to do extract tokens, and we're going to take it from our document. We haven't actually. So let me get rid of this now. Parser create. Our parser create takes a reader, so we want our reader reference to our reader. I don't know if I need that to be a pointer or not. It might not necessarily need to, because we've got an underlying value that is already a pointer to something. But I'm not entirely sure, in all honesty. I'm not entirely sure if we need this as a pointer or not. But we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to get our tokens. We're just going to extract tokens from parser.document. That wants a pointer. And then I'm going to tokens like that. And I'll call this tokens. So we'll just see what happens. When we build this, in theory, we're going to get a lot of tokens reported back to us. Build not bad, assuming everything's fine. Looks fine to me. Let's go in here, run, and let's see what happens. So we do twt build templates, that's the folder. Whoa, we get back a lot of tokens, as you can see. Right. Well, that doesn't look right, does it? Right. I know why it doesn't look right. We're not doing that check when we do the other thing. Hold on a minute. Let's go back into here and we'll do this same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste this code and put it here. So if it's anything else, then we do this exact same thing here. And another thing which I should be doing as well, because we're cloning a lot of this stuff, rooms to string as well. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this into context temp allocator so that we actually clear that properly. And the same with this one as well. Temp allocator. Because we're not otherwise freeing the memory. We're not taking a reference to the memory so that we can clear it. So I'm just going to put in a temp allocator to make things a bit easier. Same thing here as well. We put it in a temp allocator. And we clear it later, if you remember. We go into main. We do have the create all context temp allocator, so we're constantly expanding that memory arena. We're only dealing with strings anyway, so it's not exactly a problem. If it was, much larger data, then maybe it would be a bit more concerned. We would be more concerned about memory, but in this case, it's not a big a deal. Let's test this now. So yeah, this looks a bit better now. Body. So we've got all of these tokens now. Head, title, document, title, white space, blah, 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 blah. This looks a lot better, I feel. We're not taking into account numbers. We're skipping over numbers. I just realized that. Probably shouldn't do that. And the other thing we need to make sure of is we actually involve strings, like actual strings. So let's go ahead and handle that. So go back to our parser. So I'm just going to put down is string false. So in here I'm going to do, here I'm going to say is string is basically equal to whatever it isn't. And we also need, like I say, we also need to take into account numbers as well. If we do that for is UTF-8 letter, or if we'll do it here, or is this now equal to 0, and r's less than or equal to 9. Take that into account. We don't take number literals in HTML, not necessary. Okay. Do have a string though. So what I'll do is, if we've got white space or anything else for that matter, then we'll put a label here. I'm going to call it check ch. So you can do this, which is not normally so you could do that if we wanted to, right? So we can do break check ch in theory. Let me just double check because that didn't seem to work there. So what we'll do is if is string, we're going to append we're going to append letters like this. And that's assuming that our d.ch is not equal to that. So we will append the letters, and then we would technically break out of check ch like that. That seems to be okay with that. And then we'll do the same with white space as well. Now, in the case of white space, we don't need to do this check, because we've already checked the character. So if is string appends to letters and break. This will allow us to capture strings until we find another double quote. We're not going to do that check for single quotes. Every HTML attribute value should be double quotes. That's actually specifically a HTML spec thing. We'll capture that. Let's have a look. We build, test, clear, run. All right, let's have a look. So what I want to see is full identifiers. Now, as you can see here, we've got width equals device width, initial scale is equal to 1.0. Exactly what I wanted, thank you. Viewport there. So yeah, we've got what we wanted there. And I think these identifiers, because they're strings, I don't think they should be identifiers. I think they should be like strings. And and this is where we're going to be using our HTML operator here. So I will make the type. We do it here, don't we? But hold on. That's for, it's not a, that's only when we have a string. So I'll do is string dot HTML operator, or it's going to be an identifier. And we'll do the same down here. What's going on? But I'm clicking on it. It's not letting me do anything. A bit odd. Right, run. So we've got that's an identifier that we know. Let's see. Identifier. Where we've got our attribute values, it should be a HTML operator. Yes, correct. That's an identifier. So we say that's an identifier. That's an equals, double quote, HTML operator. What we can do now is we can look at incorporating fields, but I think that's something we actually parse. Or do we lex it? Do we lex it? Good question. I think we parse it. I think that would be better to parse it. Okay. Well, I think this is fine for now. So we've extracted all of the tokens that we need. We just need to now actually parse it into something useful. So yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now, and continue in the next video, in which we talk about parsing HTML. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.